All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Attack on Titan, Season 3, Episode 10.
Turkey Titan's gone.
He's been defeated, Rod, and Historia did it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And people saw her do it.
That's right.
So she's going to be queen, and it won't necessarily be an unknown situation. So
yeah, they'll spread the word and all that.
They'll spread the word, and I think we're kind of due, other than for the Kenny bit,
right?
We're kind of due for a little bit of a reconvening. Let's everyone get together and kind of discuss what's the next step or what we need to do.
There's been talk of plugging up the wall, now that Eren can do his whole hardening thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really anything standing in their way other than just regular Titans, and I guess maybe the Beast Titan, because in Season 2's finale, he was just kind of like there, and it was like, well, what's his deal? We never figured out why he did what he did in Season 2. It's just kind of an enigma.
That is
so.
True. Yes.
I don't see any reason for him to either have left or stay. So it just is a question of, will they bump into him, or not? Yeah. But yeah, this whole Kenny situation, he has a syringe.
He does.
And it's probably a Titan syringe. And
probably. Seems to be
a problem there. I mean, it's Levi there, so it won't be too much of a problem.
I mean, Kenny's, half dead. Levi could probably handle him, but, who knows what will happen.
All right. So I'm excited, guys. Without further ado, let's get into it. Oh.
これが巨人ってやつか。やろっと撃つな。
Wow. Jeez.
お前がやらないのなら俺が殺す。クソ許してくれよ。俺を逃がしてもう一度チャンスをくれよ。圧倒的な強者を前にした俺は脆かった。暴力が全てだった俺はその支えを失ってしまった。
Oh my god. Wow.
殺すほかないのだ。
Whoa.
どうか許してくれ。あれほどの力を持った王が下船を相手に神戸を垂れ上がる。その何かが大きく揺らいだのを感じた。次の議会の席では俺にレイスケの情報を吐いたやつが消えてそいつに吐かせたやつがレイスケの犬になってふんぞり返っていた。こうしてアッカーマン家への迫害は終わった。
だいぶ前に病気をもらっちまってから売り物になってやせん。
Oh, that's horrible.
死んで。
Yeah.
お前は生きてる方か。名前はリヴァイ。
Yeah.
ただのリヴァイ。
So is the reason why he's so short because he was malnourished and stuff and just grew up in horrible environment?
そうか、クシェル。
Jeez, this is character death backstory if I ever saw it.
Yep.
Jeez.
クシェルとは知り合いだった。愛想のねえ死にかけのガキ。クシェルの忘れがたみはそれだけだった。こいつを見殺しにできるほど人を捨ててねえが、親に飼われるほどできた人間じゃねえ。まずはナイフの握り方。それとご近所付き合い。挨拶の仕方。要はこの地下街で生き延びる術を教えたまでだ。
そこが王の果てしなさよ。
サネさんよ。ずいぶん心酔されなさってるようだな。
だから俺はどんな仕事もこなしていける。お前は違うのか。
この世で一番偉いのはこの世で一番強いやつのことを示す。力さえありゃいいんだよ。
This is how he was as a kid.
妹みてえな最後を迎えることはねえだろうからな。
Oh, sister, okay.
この力はロードの子たちに引き継がれる。私はその子らの記憶の中で生き続けるだろう。ケニー、この世界はそう遠くない未来、 必ず滅ぶ。
Oh.
そのわずかな
Something's
人
gonna
類の黄昏
change.
に私は楽園を築き上げたいのだ。滅ぼし合うほかなかった我々を友人にしたものは一体何だ。暴力か。
知らねえよ。
あの時の奇跡を信じている。
奴とは
Okay.
最後まで同じ気分にはなれなかったが、奴の言う通りバケモンは受け継がれたらしい。
Pass it on to her, right?
目を見ればすぐに奴がいると分かった。
Yeah, right.
ロッドの娘も人々の愛がどうしたとか平和がどうのこうのとか似たようなことをほざいている。お前に力があって余裕があるからか。
Possibly.
その力を手にしさえすれば誰でも同じなのか。例えば俺でも。
Yeah.
された対人立体機動部隊の隊長を務めることになった。よろしくな。
Nice to meet you.
兵団にいたこともねえ殺人鬼がお前らのボスだって言われても
Oh,
よろしくねえだろう。
yeah, that.
構いません。壁が破壊されて2年。巨人の相手は諦めて人間と残された領土をめぐり争い合う。それが我々の存在意義ですね。構いませんよ。すべては無意味です。
It's all pointless anyway. Whoa.
調査兵団の対抗組織なんて大義名分。俺が考えた建前に過ぎねえ。何のためかって？
Whoa.
そりゃ全ては大いなる夢のためだ。
Whoa.
神にも等しい力だ。みんな慈悲深くなっちまうらしい。
Dang.
こんなクソ野郎でもそうなっちまうのか。
Whoa.
Uh-huh.
知りてえ。
Yeah, I
俺の
would.
ようなクズにも。
Yeah. I would do whatever it took to figure out what that was like.
本当にお前と対等な景色を見ることができるのか。
I love how they make it about the perspective, not about the power.
Yeah.
ロッドのカバンから一つくすねといたやつだ。巨人になるらしいな。
Okay.
アホな巨人には
Uh-huh.
なっちまうが。
So what are you gonna do?
それを打つ時間も体力も
Oh,
今より
why haven't you
変わったはずだ。
done it yet?
Uh-huh.
なぜやらなかった？
Yeah, that's a very good point. We showed all this backstory.
あんたが座して死を待つわけがねえよ。もっとマシな言い訳はなかったのか。
俺は死にたくねえし。
That's
で
it.
もそうか。
Oh,
今
you
なら
figure
奴
it
の
out?
やったことわかる気がする。俺が見てきた奴らみんなそうだった。酒だったり女だったり
Distracting
神
themselves.
様だったりもする。力。みんな何かに酔っ払ってねえと
Oh,
やってられなか
yeah.
ったんだ。
Wow, this is like some berserk stuff, you know? Like, talk about dreams and...
何か
Yeah,
が
everyone was a slave to something, yeah.
あいつでさえも。
ケニー、知っていることを全て話せ。初代王はなぜ人類の存続を望まない？
知らねえよ。
あんた、本当は母さんのなんだ？
バカが。ただの兄貴だ。
Okay, okay, cool.
あの時、なんで俺から去っていっ
Yeah,
た？
yeah, why did he...
俺は人の親にはなれねえよ。
Okay. And he dies.
Yep.
ケニー、
Dang.
Yep.
And we'll talk about slavery and stuff, and now we're, you know...
Uh-huh.
あんな小さな体で我々を巨人から救ったのか。
影の王である父親の暴走を自らの手で沈められたのだ。
我が壁の真の王よ。
Hey, playing your role.
まさか本当に仕留めてしまうとは。
A salute like that as Queen? That's really crazy. Like,
殴った後でこう言ってやればいい。殴り返してみろって。
お前な。
こうでもしないと女王なんて務まらないよ。
いいぞ、一人や。
Sasha's all excited. Same with Connie.
どうだ、私は女王様だぞ。文句があれば。
お前らありがとうな。
now they're all going to just cry and stuff. Oh.
Reiner!
Whoa. Oh.
勝ったぜ。兄ちゃん助けるのは後な。座標のダッシュを優先。当然だろ。
ここで待ってりゃあっちから来るんだし。
Oh, well. Okay. All right then. Yep. Here we go. Oh, okay. Wow.
Yep.
For a way to do the classic, you know, character is dying, give them all their backstory right at the very end. It's kind of a thing that I'm a sucker for because it's characterization
At
and
the
just
point where we care
the most.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a cheat move, but it's also something that like I said, I'm a sucker for, and it's more characterization. And generally speaking, I don't really care what form the characterization comes in, as long as it's more characterization.
Well, and in this case in particular, because Kenny was very much of a mysterious character, where it didn't really make sense to have him have the
show
perspective.
up all of a sudden, too.
Yeah, show up all of a sudden and everything. That the fact that they did it this way worked really well, I feel like, especially since like they had already given us bits of his backstory before,
right? But
they had held back. You know, it was okay. We know that he's, you know, he took in Levi. You know, we knew about the brother sister thing, but then they, you know, restated it here just in case we forgot about it, and you know, little things like that. But like actually showing him talking to Uri, I believe that's the correct pronunciation. You know, the previous king and all that. Or would it be a couple generations previous? Point is,
well, it was the one before Frida. That's the point.
Frida didn't last that long, but you know, but yeah, I really like how they handled that, because one of the things that I was a little bit worried about with adapting from the manga is, well, generally just backstory stuff, because you know they're keeping things at a clip pace, but also the whole idea of the king and having it sort of be this like weird other sort of, you know, just almost possession, it feels like, because of you know the memories and the power and all that stuff. So I really like that they showed us some dialogue here with the king involved, and the fact that it was with Kenny makes it even better, as a way to just do a lot more showing rather than telling, since they have had to do a lot of telling this season. So I'm really glad that they did that.
Yeah, so with Kenny's backstory, we end up getting a lot of, I would say, detailed info regarding how he came to be in a position of power.
Right.
So he was one that was initially sent to kill the king by an insider, someone who had leaked info. And then he outed the person probably that leaked him the info and took their seat on that council. Am I extrapolating that info correctly?
I believe so. It's been a long time since I read this part of the manga, but I believe that is what it was.
It would make sense, because he would need to have someone that was inside on everything and knew the king and knew where he would be, and probably knew, like, you know, the kind of the doings and goings on of what that power was. Because Kenny, upon meeting the king for the first time, knew what kind of power he was dealing with.
Well, maybe not.
Not exactly, but
because he still got surprised by the whole Titan thing.
Well, he got surprised by the Titan thing, but I think that that's something you wouldn't want to tell an assassin really as much.
Because otherwise they might just be like, yeah, I'm not doing this.
They might be like, no, I'm not doing this. If it's like you're killing a person, they go, okay, yeah, I'll kill the person.
Just make sure to kill them, like, you know, like quickly, like in the first strike kind of a thing. They can't have even a moment to respond.
And they have some kind of power, so make sure you get the head. Like
right, yeah, exactly.
You should have aimed for the head.
Yeah, exactly. yeah.
So this whole kind of pause in the Levi confronting Kenny bit gives us a lot to let us know that Kenny wasn't just a mad dog or Kenny the Ripper. If anything, he was someone that was utilizing his in with the king to, I would say, sate his curiosity. Because there was something about the exchange that they had that just shook him to his core, and he had to know. And I think that this is a cool thing to tie back to, I would say, just one of the themes of Attack on Titan, which is just the human curiosity to know and be free to explore and to figure out what does this all mean. And he ends up realizing that the real reason why he's curious is because he doesn't understand why the king is the way that he is. And that once he realizes it can be passed on, he's like, well, what if I got that? Would that change me? Would that save me? And I love the idea that he doesn't care about using the power, so to speak. He just wants to know if it will change him fundamentally as a person. Whether or not the king was truly special, you know, was in some ways dictated by what the power did, and he didn't know. And in some ways, the king couldn't truly tell him, because the way he would communicate things was such that he's like, I'm dealing with something else here. And his perspective and the way he looks at everything is touched, you know, by this power. So I can't just ask him questions because one, he either won't tell me, or two, even if he does try to tell me,
it will be in things that in a way that I don't understand. You know?
I love the whole aspect of compassion versus violence, where it was in some ways his act of compassion to save Levi. And it was his means of violence that brought him to the place where he could be leading the anti-personnel squad. So it's a fun dance, basically. And I think that I think that the creator is trying to say that in Kenny's story here, they're showcasing the duality of humanity. We have opportunity for great compassion, but it's not a common thing. It's not as easy to see, I would say. And it's easy to look around and see the violence of humanity and how much we just, in some horrible way of looking at it, cannibalizing each other, you know, killing each other, you know, stepping on each other for resources or for power or what have you. And yet he did all that so that he had what he believed as a chance at that compassion, which is funny because that shows the hypocrisy in him, that he could have maybe had that, you know, had an opportunity for a life of compassion if he just chose to be a father to Levi, but he already had beliefs that he held on to that said, you know, I can't be that person. And that's not my dream. That's not what I'm a slave to in some ways. And I've been giving myself to it.
I love how they do this spin on what, until now, from what we had seen, was basically just another caricature, another archetype, another trope. Because the whole idea of the person that's really strong, that's only interested in strength and all that stuff and blah, 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 we've seen that before. And it gets old pretty quick.
It does, yeah.
But in this case, he still was going after the power, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know, and it's like, okay, yeah, sure, awesome. But the reasons as for why he was going after the power, the fact that the fact that it wasn't just that he befriended Uri and all that stuff because I wasn't strong enough to defeat him. That's probably what made him a bit more compliant at the beginning, you know. But the reason that he actually got close to the guy was because this person's different, right? And the fact that, like, even as in as much as he would have the own belief of, might makes right, I can do pretty much whatever I want because I can, right? There's also the idea of, I'm a messed up person. and he realizes that, and then he has that as such a part of his identity that he's accepted, that even when he has the chance at potentially redemption, being a father for somebody, right? He's like, that's not my thing, right? And he leaves as soon as Levi is able to basically take care of himself in the way that he was taught.
Yeah.
And like just the idea that possibility that maybe by some miracle I could be changed, because that is what I believe it would take for me.
Right, because he was listening to the preachings of Uri and Frida, and he's like, how is it they keep spouting all this love, compassion, and peace crap?
Yeah.
He's like, wait, do they actually believe it?
They do, don't
Wait, they do. And they're genuine. But the thing is they're people.
Right.
They don't care about it. They're just being like, wow, you are such a true human individual.
It's the whole thing of being needing to be drunk on something, and it's like, okay, they're all wanting to be drunk on this whole transcendent notion, because
it gives their life purpose or meaning.
And hope and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But then for them, well, it doesn't seem to be that for them, because they're not trying to grab hold of it. They're rather
not trying to echo it.
Right.
Back.
They're trying to give it, or it's something that they see and they believe in, and they're wanting to make others have that opportunity.
Wait, are you talking about the king now, or the followers of the king?
The king.
Oh, okay, yeah. The king was
the difference between the king and the followers of the king.
Yeah, the followers are trying to, in some ways, exploit it and utilize basically the meaning that they gain by being connected to the king to give like almost validation for whatever they do. And that wasn't really explored too much, but
it was kind of what Kenny observed.
It's kind of what's inferred also by what we've seen in Attack on Titan from here on out, just in the way the power structure of the city is situated, and in the way the Rice family was kind of holding on to things. In another way, it's something that most, I would say, not all organizations, but any kind of organization that has basically a singular rule coming from a rule from a singular individual, because most companies and stuff will have like a board of directors, and they'll elect a CEO. But the thing is, the CEO still has to move through their group and stuff.
Okay, but what are you getting at?
I'm getting at the idea that this is something that is interesting, because generally with like a cult or some kind of organization like this, where you have the being that is beyond
beyond reproach. Their word is law.
Right, they're generally the ones that you should be the most worried about. In this case, they're flipping it and saying that you have someone that attained a connection to the beyond, and because they have that connection, they are changed. Now, this is something I think that's commonplace in real life, where you'll see someone, they'll believe in something greater than themselves.
They'll think about things differently, have a different perspective, whatever.
Yeah, and what will happen is people will naturally kind of, I'm going to use the cult word, but they'll flock around that person and just be like, yes, what they say is good. It's law of
attraction stuff.
Yes, but the thing that's interesting about Attack on Titan is that they know there's a mechanic built around this. So in some ways, maybe the fact that they know that it's not something that any of them could have, that induces that feeling of how it's artificial,
or like the subservience to the entity that has this perspective,
right?
Kind of
not actually the ideals themselves. It's more so that the individual is where the power lies, and that since this connection to the greater thing can't truly be given, it breaks the illusion that a lot of cults will have, or really weird, religions or something like that, where they'll be like, oh, we can have our connection to God, basically. We will attain like, a greater connection to the beyond or something if we, do a specific list of things.
Okay.
Whereas in this, there's basically an acknowledgement of, we just want to listen and be near and connected to this limited piece that will never change until this person's time to die. It's basically the idea of the prophet. Are you following with me, or is this a little bit off?
Yeah, I'd say
I'm just speculating.
Yeah, because like, I mean, like in the extreme cases, it's, you know, cults and all that stuff. But like we didn't really see what the followers were doing, so we just have to
really
look at
the city though, and we have to just look at anyone that was in position of power, like the Rice family.
Sure,
and we get a little bit of data from that.
Sure, yeah. The fact that there's the contradiction of the, you know, the king that's saying, you know, peace and all this stuff, but at the same time is, you know, killing and silencing people that, you know, are problems.
Yeah, and they also hide the king. This king that is a near, you know, god.
Sure. Yeah.
They intentionally mask the goodness that the king could bring, or that they do bring, by saying that, well, it's not worth the risk of this connection being gone, so we hold it for ourselves. It's a natural, I would say it's a natural fear-based technique of saying, we don't want to lose what we already have, so rather than risk losing it and give the opportunity for that message to spread, we'll cloister it. And only, like, the fact that they showed how many people were actually listening to it, and it was like 15 to 20 people.
Yeah.
It's a thing by the elite, for the elite, and to no one else. Sure. Which means the buck stops there. The elite don't spread that out. The fact that the Church of the Walls is the one that's actually in power, and it's not the Church of the King, is telling.
Fair point. Yeah.
So I would say that there's a couple things that can be inferred by that.
Okay, sure.
So it has the elements of a cult. It has the elements of a religion as well. I would just want to separate the two, because they are different, but they have connections slightly.
Sure.
But specifically in having that there's an individual that can't preach the message of you can get this too. And that's generally the message of religion.
Okay.
Of the, like, of whatever goodness is given to me from the beyond of whatever.
Sure.
You can have some of that.
Okay.
If you blah 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 blah. But in this, there's that knowledge that, at least for the elite around them, that they can't have that. And Kenny dares to question that and says, but what if it didn't go down this lineage thing? What if I got it?
Or
what
because
would I do?
know how the thing is passed on and all that, I could theoretically take it for myself. Yeah.
Oh, you're saying that I'm assuming that they know that it is passed on and all that other stuff?
Well, I mean,
it wasn't really stated.
Well, they do know that it's passed on because, you know, the king goes away and then there's Frida, you know.
Right.
Preaching the exact same message and all
they
that.
don't know necessarily the details of what happened.
Right. Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It just makes me really fascinated, because this is something that Attack on Titan, I think, held off from going too deep into with the Church of the Walls and stuff. They kept it kind of there was a real, like, on the nose thing of, this is a sham, like, this is a stupid like cult thing for them to line their pockets, and maybe they have some secrets to protect, which are legit. But the whole Church of the Walls thing is basically them, you know, trying to control the populace via the means of their whack message and stuff. But this,
by the wow.
But this with the king is closer to, I would say, a true religion, except that there is a known, like, paid firewall, basically, of you cannot have access to the thing that this person does, because it only goes to one person. It has to go to the next line of the family and stuff. And you all are basically just graced to be in the presence of this.
Oh, yeah, I would say that's a lot more cult than religion.
Oh, yes, but because it's real, because there is proof that it is real, it moves into the religion category. Because there's at least, I mean, there's...
I am not following you.
Okay, what?
Yeah, like, Keep going. Is there, like, if there's something that you're working towards, but I'm
saying that there's a reason why the king and his message doesn't leave this cloistered circle, because he can't, because it's not a thing that they believe can actually happen. The reason why Kenny thought he could have it is because he knew that if he got the actual power, that it would change him. It would
Right.
actually
Yep.
change him.
Yeah.
But listening to the message thing, it in some ways to me, it feels like he can't rectify the fact that, like, why didn't he think of just actually believing what the king was saying?
Probably because his entire life up till that point had been contradicting it.
Right. So he thinks that there's no point to it, but
Right.
the king believes there is.
Right.
Why
And
didn't
because-
Why didn't he just take the king's word for it? My point is that I think that the reason why he wants the power is because it's the only way he believes he truly can have. those things that the king
I am
has.
all for with you on that, and that's what I think makes the whole backstory bit so amazing. I totally track with you on that. The part where you were losing me was with the whole thing of like, okay, what is religion, what is cult, and how does the, like, inferring the structures of the stuff that was happening behind the scenes, all the stuff with Kenny and Uri. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right. That's a bummer because I hope someone in the comments is understanding at least a little bit, because what I'm trying to get at is that the buck stops at the king. It cannot spread. One of the natural consequences of anyone starting any cult, religion, following, organization, whatever, is if they start saying something with belief and passion, eventually people will follow them.
Sure.
The thing is that they intentionally kept this cloistered. But even with doing that, there should be a ripple effect of people who believe what they believe, then affecting someone else who then believes what they believe.
Okay,
And
yeah.
we didn't see that. We don't see that. And if anything, I think they're trying to draw the point that that can't happen. And I think that's a cool commentary on this world's version of a religion/cult. That's a summarized TLDR version of what I was trying to say.
Okay. Cool.
Specifically with that end scene, though.
Yeah.
We have Bertolt. We have Reiner. We have them back. Now, this is a point I want to make here. Ymir is not with them.
Correct.
Like,
that's not that we saw.
Not that we saw.
If she was with them, we probably would have seen it.
And the reason why I think that's like guaranteed is because the Beast Titan was like you're not ready, rescue, or I won, so rescuing Annie has to wait.
Right.
So,
exactly.
So they went somewhere, dropped off Ymir, and came back. Because remember when Ymir was like, I understand your guys' struggle, and Bertolt broke down in tears and was like, thank you.
Yeah.
I think it was basically said as well. She's basically their prize.
Yeah.
She's they're basically coming back and saying, like, we did something good. We failed in getting the coordinate. We failed in getting Aaron, but we have Ymir.
Right.
Now, Ymir, who knows what's going on with her?
Who knows?
She could be dead.
Yep.
Who knows?
It was very much said that her going with them was like a big sacrifice on her part, because they couldn't guarantee her safety and all that.
She might be dead. Now, here's the thing. They skipped all that. So it's not relevant yet, but it could be very soon. The big thing, though, is that the Beast Titan was just chilling in Shiganshina, which just makes sense, I guess. This is the...
that does seem to be where... Yeah.
Now, here's the thing that's curious. Curious, okay? If they know that Aaron is coming back, that means they know about the basement.
No, it could just be that they know about the hole in the wall.
Oh. Duh.
Then
why don't they just make another hole in the wall?
I mean, they could.
So they want to just make sure they know which hole... See, that's the thing that makes me a little bit confused, is I don't think it's the hole in the wall then, because it could be. It totally could be. But... Let's say it's not. Let me just speculate here. I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. But let's just say it's not. They could make 50 holes in the wall that don't, or maybe they could make a bunch of other holes in the walls of the gates where they don't have to worry about, because all those other cities were abandoned. Like Shiganshina is not the only city on the perimeter wall of Mount
There's
Maria.
3 others. Yeah,
there's at least 3 others. Yeah. And I don't think we've ever really been given their names or anything.
I think it's like on a list somewhere, but
but it's not relevant to the story, so they don't bring it up.
Right.
So this one is basically the trap point. And Bertolt and Reiner were coming back to rescue Annie, which seems extremely emotional decision. It does seem a little bit military tactical to come back and rescue your comrade.
Right.
But that
cover,
gives me
a powerful asset.
But that gives me more, I would say, credence to the idea that these two might not have gone back. Because they failed.
Okay, failed against the Beast Titan or failed to
get Eren.
Okay.
So maybe, this is a crazy thought, maybe Annie is basically their thing of, well, Annie's the only other friend we have in this world, so we have to get her back. The humanity of the city, all them, they hate them. Now, they were terrified of coming back with nothing. Like Bertolt especially.
Hence why Ymir went with them.
Right. She's gone now. What if Ymir wasn't enough? I mean, like, maybe they were given essentially okay, that's fine, but if you want to be like, actually good, you need to fix every mistake. And that basically sounds like a suicide mission. Because the original mission they got was they had Annie with them and they had another nameless person with them. And it was basically to breach, the wall and stuff.
Yeah.
Very simple mission. They did it.
But then complications because Eren
turns into a Titan.
Yep.
I think though what's curious is that the mission of whatever they were supposed to do, did they go, like, once they'd done all this, they've infiltrated and stuff. Were they then just waiting for basically some clues or some knowledge about the coordinate?
Oh, in order to, like, why they waited the 5 years or whatever to go for the second wall?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That is a good question.
There's these little gaps in times that are starting to come up with, specifically now that we know it's Reiner and Bertolt as the Armored and Colossal Titan, that are like, what was going on there? We know about the whole become one of them and hide amongst that whole kind of thing, but it's like they're in some ways this is something I'm really excited about. Reiner had a very cool character development bit in season 2. He became like, I don't know about you when you were reading the manga, but in the anime for me, like he became like a really favorite character of mine.
And I think that happened after they breached Walrose and the whole thing with Marco, right? But you could, like, it could be possible that the reason that they hesitated, it could be possible that the reason that they took so long to breach Walrose was because they were hesitating because of all the stuff that they saw of, the first wall.
And, Reiner maybe going through some trauma.
Sure. Because they were, 5 years younger than they are now. So,
crazy.
Yeah.
So, all these gaps in time, inferring that there was story that happened, but it's not important yet, or it's not going to be important at all, I think is kind of hinting at we're getting, like, eventually, especially this is I'm not making sense here, but basically that the Beast Titan beat them in a fight is kind of a simpler way of, let me boil this down in a little bit simpler way. It's basically showcasing Reiner and Bertolt in a more relatable light. In a more underdog light.
Absolutely.
And I think the fact that they are back here, they have no, like, random faceless, someone else coming, with them.
Right, it's just the two of them.
And
apparently they
have no, like,
Beast Titan now.
Yeah, they have no subterfuge, element of surprise anymore. They can't hide out amongst the humans.
Right, I mean, maybe, because it's probably not, like, widespread, like, these faces, if you ever see them, like...
They're gonna ODM gear, like, over the walls, like, at night one day.
Yeah, they could totally do that. If they manage to, like, hide in, like a village. Like, not anywhere important, and of course, if, like, the military came through, like, anyone that from the recon corps...
So they run in their Titan form... like,
to get to the
wall, and then once they're like 2-3 miles away or 50 miles away or something, then they walk
Yeah, and then
See?
ODM gear over. Yeah,
Yep.
it takes some doing.
It's gonna take some doing.
Right.
And what I think happened here is basically they were going to come back through the hole in the wall.
Okay.
And just do this quietly, like that, secretly. Beast Titan is here, keeping watch. Like, this is his trap zone.
Right.
And they just happen to show up, and they're like, hey, let us pass. That denotes the... Beast Titan's like, why are you here? Like, you shouldn't be back here. And he does a you shall not pass.
Okay, yeah.
And they're like, well, like, we have to rescue Annie, so we're gonna get past you.
Right.
And he's like, all right, fine.
Coordinates
If you
more
can,
important,
well,
you know.
yeah, but he's like, if you beat me, I'll let you pass. But if I beat you, you're now under my control. Like, you will stay here and do what I say. And it's like, well, I guess they
good old territorial, like
dispute.
Yeah, exactly. Who's the alpha and all that.
And that, in some ways, like, paints Reiner and Bertolt as more of a sympathetic character, sympathetic underdogs.
Right, because they're the underdogs right now, and it's not just that they're the underdogs, and and the Beast Titan can beat Reiner and all that stuff, which is terrifying. Like that shot of Reiner just lying there.
He was punctured in like multiple spots.
Yeah, with the armor just being punctured. It's like, oh, wow,
whoa,
okay,
whoa.
But also the fact that they were, that their goal was, let's just rescue Annie.
Yeah,
like
that's a very human, very empathetic goal. Like,
and especially,
it's even more so like a personal Bertolt goal, maybe more so than even a Reiner goal.
Oh yeah, and Reiner was probably like, okay, we'll do that, and here's the thing that I love, the way they set this up, because the Beast Titan says, hey, getting the coordinate back. That is the number one priority. Yep. That's what No, Annie is completely
She's gone.
Entirely secondary.
Yep.
That means they were kind of going against orders.
Yep.
So what would they have been planning to do once they got Annie?
That was my point. That was my point. I was leading up to
just disappeared.
That was my point. Was that they were leading up to eventually doing what I thought they were doing originally. Was when he mentioned how he was going back to their town. What I thought he meant was, we have a small camp out in the middle of nowhere, and we're just being free. We have freedom, and maybe there's like 25, or maybe like 300 of them, and basically they have a problem of, well, we can do this for maybe another 100 years, but we're all eventually gonna die out, or just
gene pool's not
that great. Yeah, exactly. So it's basically a bit of a pipe dream. But if they can constantly like attract more people and stuff, or maybe have enough people that have Titan abilities there and stuff, they could actually make raids and stuff on like other places and stuff, because I assume what they're building up towards is that there's a lot of cities, like basically what you would have in this kind of crazy setting.
Blood Gulch Outpost
number one, and you've got like number 2 over there where Ymir is from, and then you've got these raider camps out there of people that are just like, screw the cities, they're all weird and have their weird cults and weird just hierarchy systems. Nah, we're gonna be out there living amongst the wild, and like in some ways maybe they've figured out that the Titans are just roaming in between cities, and there's like these highways of like Titans, and it's like, generally speaking, the Titans have enough like of an internal compass to go, people generally that direction.
I mean, we saw Rod's perspective shot. He knew where the people were at.
Yeah. So maybe these camps are just way out in the middle of nowhere. But the thing is that that's probably not what it was, because now we have the connection point between Ymir and Reiner and Bertolt. So they probably went back to Ymir's place. But the thing with Reiner, Annie, and Bertolt and stuff is they might try to just strike out on their own.
That was one of the big theories, amongst the manga readers, while we were waiting for season 2 and all that stuff, because 4 years is a long time, in the manga wasn't nearly as far as it is now, and it was just this idea of okay, all right, it's just gonna be like Reiner and Bertolt, and it's all gonna be about how they get Annie back, and then and then we're just gonna gonna see what happens from there, you know. But then this chapter of the manga happened where it's like, that thing that, you know, everyone wants you guys to do of going to get Annie, we're not doing that right now, you know.
So basically, I can't tell if you're saying your theory's cool and all. We went through that a couple years ago or a few years ago, and we've moved on since then. So forget that theory, or that like, it's relevant now, you know, and we'll see where it goes. But you just have to wait.
Are you talking about the theory of the Titan highways, or?
No, specifically the striking out on their own and making a camp and stuff.
Gotcha.
You're not saying anything to any of those theories.
I am not saying anything to any of those theories.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah. All right. The Beast Titan, they've kind of doubled the kind of close-up, I guess. They've just made it closer to us to see what he looks like.
Right, exactly.
It's not like we knew back in the end of season 2 that it wasn't a character we'd already seen and stuff.
Yep.
But they keep kind of like trying to make us, at least when I see shots like this and they do the whole pan up and
right, it's sort of the teasing shot.
Right. Well we get a full look at this guy, whereas the last time I think it was kind of shadowed.
Right, because it was like the steam of, you know, the Titan and all that. Yeah.
Like I don't see anything.
It's like, who is this guy?
I'm trying to get clues. Like I'm trying to see if is there any kind of connection of this character? And I'm like, okay, blonde hair. All right. I guess there are a lot of people with blonde hair out there, and you know we have all the Armin lookalikes out there and stuff. But like, I guess the glasses, I mean, we have a lot of people that have glasses. I actually originally thought that there might have been some connection to Zackley, way back when, because he has glasses and he Zackley kind of looks like the Beast Titan just a little bit, you know? Like
that would be pretty crazy.
Right. But then I think who else has glasses? Like Dr. Jaeger has glasses.
The Zackley thing makes me think of the line in Battlestar Galactica of the, quite frankly, if I'm a Cylon, then you're all screwed.
Yes. Oh, Battlestar Galactica. That was my kind of cheesy drama. I love that. I love that soapy stuff.
But the stage has basically been set for where the show is going.
Yeah,
for the next portion,
and it makes sense that it would go there. I think that this would be a good place for them to potentially have just an all-out crazy brawl of sorts. But that's 3 Titans on one.
Yeah,
I don't really see this being a good thing. I think, okay, here's where we could get logical about this here. Bertolt's Titan actually kind of sucks. Let's just
it's
be
a siege
real
weapon.
Here. It's a siege weapon.
Yeah.
You don't unpack your trebuchet when your enemy is coming in with 20 champions and 3, cavalry or something.
Exactly. Well,
you keep that thing packed and you roll it around and
can it do damage?
Footman.
Oh yeah, it can do tons of damage.
But it won't hit anything.
Yeah, if you try and hit infantry with it though, you will be out of luck.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also this trebuchet can move. We get it. But can it really?
Got some mobility issues.
So
there.
I actually think that what we're gonna get if we get a good just classic scouts, versus Titans battle.
Right.
What we need actually is the Titans that Eren can control to come with them. Now, this is madness.
That would be pretty awesome. Eren with an army of Titans versus the 3 of them.
And basically sending them their way. What would be also really cool is to see if the Beast Titan really does have some level of control over Titans. Because
he can talk.
He can talk to them, and he was telling them, wait here.
Don't eat that one.
And they didn't listen to show.
Right.
It was almost a foreshadowing of that it's not like mind control like Eren's is.
Right.
It's just it's a respect thing. It's like, hey, I'm big.
Yeah.
You will listen to me because I can just go and you're dead.
That's what happened to the good old penis Titan.
Oh my god, yes. That head was so phallic. It was just horrifying to cleanse my mind. But But if Bertolt isn't able to like do much in his Titan form, I could see him actually being the way that they end the fight, at least with Reiner. Because Reiner and Bertolt are like this. Like they only have each other. And I assume on some ways that's the case, because I feel like if they'd be back here, things aren't really going as well for them. Like, Reiner was so ready to be done with the mission last time. It broke his mind. The fact that they're back here and they're not doing the, like you said, the number one objective. Yeah, things aren't going well for them. And doubly so that they just got their butts kicked by the Beast Titan.
That kind of behavior is like let's get the valuables, let's basically get everything that we can't live without.
Right.
Before we like exit the burning building, kind of a thing.
Yes. And there is this sense that this episode actually brought up, this sense of doom coming for just humanity.
Oh yeah, Uri did say that thing of like, what was it? It was like, I don't know when it will be, but sometime
eventually,
humanity will crumble, or something like that.
Something about humanity will fall.
Right, and in the twilight I will build my paradise.
And Attack on Titan likes to throw the word humanity around, and this is something that I think is very interesting coming from the king. I'm sidetracking here, but I'm going to go right back to Reiner and Bertolt, in that he should, as the king, be aware of a lot more than what everyone else is aware of. And as far as I think what the general people in the city know, this is all of humanity. We know, though, as the viewers, there's some other people out there somewhere just doing stuff. So what he might be saying is more so this portion of humanity, as you know it, as you know humanity to be, will crumble. Which sounds more like the vibe of... like, at some point, what we've come to enjoy here, this relative peace that we've come to enjoy, will fall apart.
Sure.
And he might have been actually referring just to,
the armored and colossal Titan.
Armored and colossal Titan.
Because that was they established that it's like, okay, that's like a little bit after that, or I think so, or was that when they got the troops?
No, because he was a lot.
He was a lot younger then. They did the 3-year thing when Kenny.
You basically look at Kenny's face. Kenny's face changes.
How much facial hair does he have?
And how like ragged under his eyes does he look? And stuff like that. How similar to his character design in the present time is he? Now I might have gotten those times mixed up, but if he is referring to the Colossal and Armored Titan attack, then it's like, okay, that makes sense. But if he's referring to anything later, which I think in some ways he could be, because like we have no idea what the king's power fully entails other than the memories thing.
Well, and at the very least, if Kenny was, a lot younger at the time, which, we'd have to go back and check, but if that's the case, then that would mean this would have been before the Armored and Colossal Titan attack, so then he would have known somehow that an attack like that was going to happen.
Yeah, and that gives me the
assuming
vibe.
that that's true. That Kenny was in the younger stage at that point.
Yeah, and that gives me a lot of vibes towards some other theories that I have, but I'm going to save those for later. So, Reiner and Bertolt. I'm excited about them having story beyond this in a proto-protagonist kind of setting.
Sure.
Where there could be some serious redemption for one or both of them.
Hey, I mean, that would be awesome. Like, that would be pretty cool. And, what wasn't that kind of, like, asked or something in the second season? And then, of course, Aaron in his, like, Aaron rage was like, no, never.
Yes, and that's why I almost think in some ways it has to happen in some way. Not a full redemption, but more of a we'll work with you kind of thing.
Gotcha.
The other way they can do it to where they have leverage is just they get Bertolt. And it's like, Reiner, the fight is over. You either give up your best friend, your brother, basically. And I know Mikasa would do it. Mikasa came in so fast on Bertolt's neck that last time in season 2.
Yeah.
She was like, no, you're done. Well, and if Bertolt isn't in his Colossal Titan form, he is vulnerable.
Right, he is very vulnerable.
He is very vulnerable.
If he is in the Colossal Titan form, it's like, okay.
What is he going to do? Just sit there and, I'm going to burn things.
I mean, we make trebuchet analogies, but like... Bertolt has a few more hit points than a trebuchet.
He also has a little bit more of a, like, splash damage effect where he can just kind of slap the ground and maybe he hurts at least one person.
Like, he's half the size of the Rod Titan, so they would, like, would swords really be effective?
He's
would
taller
they have to,
than the wall.
Yeah.
Like, guys.
I mean,
like, he's 50 plus meters. Like,
60 to be
60,
exact.
okay,
Yeah.
But, I have like the biggest just like ODM gear like hype boner for like a crazy fight,
especially since it's Bertolt, Reiner, and the Beast Titan.
Yeah,
like
I don't know about motivations and synergies and teamwork and all that other stuff.
But if that's the case, that would just make it even more interesting.
Oh, exactly. That's my point. Is that it's not my worry is that if it's 3v all the they win. But if it's like now they might be a little bit more on their own side and they're just like, well, we have to do this, so we might as well. And then it's like, well, if we do get the coordinate, maybe once we get Eren, we'll split with this Beast Titan bastard, and we'll just book it. Like, sure. I'm faster than the Beast Titan. And then Bert will be like, are you sure? And be like, I trained hard at the running academy in Titan Force thing. I know how to do this.
I took that special feat so my armor doesn't slow me down,
That is a crazy point, though. Like, the fact that Reiner can move that fast, that was always something that in the beginning of the show, when I rewatched the first few episodes, the fact that he got up to that speed so quickly...
Well, and I think they made a point in the second season of that, like, he basically made it so that there wasn't as much armor on, like, the back of
his knees,
so that way he had more mobility and things like that. But So now do you see a bit more of why I was so excited at the beginning when I saw how fast things were moving? Because
you're just thinking about things like this, and you're like, we get to this so much faster,
right? Because with things like the whole uprising and all that stuff, they went through that super fast. It was a lot longer in the manga. So one of the things that I was thinking is that, like, okay, the third season, that whole uprising thing,
sure,
that's a long arc. That'll be what the third season's for. That's why it's 2 cours. And then we got into it, and it's like, no. This is. They're moving and grooving. So it's just like, oh my gosh, we're gonna get beyond the uprising arc. It's just like,
gotcha. Yeah. Because the thing I've kind of been a little bit, and I mentioned my worries a little bit, is that Attack on Titan is sacrificing characterization and plot, I would say, sanity for the adrenaline, like,
sort of WTF
value of
happening.
Just having so many reveals.
Sure.
And I think that if we moved into a more character-centric, simplistic plot, we could get back to the characterization parts, because there's been a lot of crazy things that have happened just in the last 10 episodes that I want to see my characters be like, how do I feel about this? What do I think about this?
Well,
we had a lot of parts in season 2 that I remember as being, I think that the community, from what I remember, they weren't as big of a fan of
season 2?
Season 2's quieter moments.
I don't
understand that.
Yeah. I mean, yes, Attack on Titan, the big thing that made it so stupidly popular was that it did have the whole thrill a minute aspect.
Yes, and I think that thrill a minute is fine as long as you take breaks.
Keep the other good stuff in there too.
Right, and Attack on Titan has never had masterpiece level characters.
Yeah, but
it's not a thing that this isn't a character drama.
Right, but they hit the notes well when they want to.
Right, and they tie them back to the themes. And I think utilizing characters like they did with Kenny here to reinforce themes regarding Attack on Titan is where the show is the strongest. Now, there are all the good parts. I am so hyped for some Titan fights. Oh my gosh.
Flesh mega battles incoming.
Yes. I love it. But having moments like what they did here with Kenny, even though it's a hard, jarring, stop of the momentum of the plot, it's totally fine to do this if you're utilizing it for characterization that reinforces the themes of the show.
Well, and one of the things that
I'm repeating myself.
that this episode I feel like is a great sort of signal for is that basically, because, okay, as far as the manga goes, I had problems with the Uprising arc as far as pacing and and things like that and whatever. I don't really have that with the other stuff, so I'm hoping that
wait, past or future stuff?
Future stuff, as like of the problems of the Uprising arc, like in my
they're
mind,
like different problems, but they're not. They're not the same ones.
I could probably pick out problems. Of course, I wouldn't go into them here.
Right.
But the idea that the Uprising arc I always felt like was Isayama basically catching his breath,
Gotcha.
and basically being like, okay, what am I going to be doing moving forward? And then he figured it out, and and it's awesome.
Okay. Cool.
So the whole manic pacing of the stuff that we've watched up till now, I don't think they will be maintaining that to the same degree, at least moving forward, because they don't really need to.
Right. And I think that would also be cool, because then what I'm guessing, I mean, I don't know how much manga there is, but they
catch up.
Like, wouldn't they catch up really quickly then?
Yes. If you take like the first like 2 episodes of season 3 and maintained that same pacing for the manga, like over the course of the whole 3rd season, you would be, I think, like almost caught up by the time the 3rd season was over. So yeah, definitely not.
I just don't want to have another wait between season 1 and 2 like we did for Attack on Titan season 3 versus season 4,
right.
Basically, the wait for Attack on Titan season 4, I don't want to be like the wait for Attack on Titan season 2.
Yeah, I don't think you have to worry about that.
I don't think you have to worry about that?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well then, guys, we're going back to Shiganshina. We're going to plug up the wall. Maybe. I mean, we could fail here.
Hey,
but
Attack on Titan does love to have their main characters fail.
If they fail and succeed... Because that's the typical Attack on Titan thing, I think.
Sure, is that if they do succeed, then there's,
Like, we trap Annie and figure out who she is, but she breaks the trap and then goes back into the city. So we have to do a really stupid plan of doing this in Walshina.
Right.
And it still ends up working out.
Yeah, but we
made the scout... scouting region, the Surveycon Legiment, the enemy of the state, basically.
Right, and we weren't able to actually get anything from Annie because Diamond plot,
Right, so let's say they succeed. And I think the main thing that they would succeed on is they would get to the basement. The question would be, would they actually stop any of these Titans? I think the only one that they can really stop, in my mind, is Bertolt, because he probably won't be useful in his Titan form.
They just sort of avoid him.
Or if he comes out of his Titan form, then they're like, Mikasa, get him. And then Mikasa just, it's like, you took Eren last time. I didn't forget.
Yeah.
And then if they get Bertolt, they have an opportunity for Reiner. But I feel like the Beast Titan is still, we've got some story potential with this guy,
right, because
he's an adult. Like, let's remember this guy. Sure. Usually, to get into a mecha, you have to be 15 or younger, basically.
Exactly. You if you have graduated from high school, then you're too old.
You're too old, because you're dead, basically, right?
Exactly.
But he's an adult, so he breaks the whole, you must be this age or lower to enter the mecha.
This is true.
So,
which kind of fits with the whole aesthetic of the Beast Titan, because, like...
He looks older.
Yeah, it looks older. Like, I remember when it first showed up, and all that stuff, and there was all the speculation. One of the big things was like, oh my gosh, it's like showing, like, evolution and all that stuff. And he's like, this is like the first ever Titan.
Yeah, that was one of my theories too. Was that basically he was like the father Titan,
right?
Like
exactly.
He was the original Titan or something, and everything else evolved from him or something like that. Yeah. But now that just seems really stupid. But guys, we've done a lot of discussion for this episode. I'm quite surprised with that. Hopefully my ramblings about religion and cults and all that wasn't too crazy for any of you.
Maybe that's just me.
But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching to the end of this video here. Hopefully we didn't get the timer, we didn't get the edited version blocked, but we are dealing with a lot of YouTube issues here.
Yeah.
So that is a thing. Thank you so much for your support and stuff.
Yes.
If there is a full-length reaction, link is in the description below for our Patreon. Any level of support that gets you access to our Discord, where you can chat with us about like Attack on Titan in a non-spoilery way for me with regards to the anime, but with manga spoilers, you can go and talk with him.
Yeah.
Or you can just talk with us about stories in general, or talk about the Discord events that we're going to be doing really soon, or just whatever. And yeah, if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.